Welcome to Roanoke County Today. We begin the show this month talking with new County Administrator Tom Gates. Tom, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you.
We're glad to have you here. I know you've been with the county for a couple of months now.
Actually, just over a month.
Just over a month. Okay, great. Well, we are so glad to have you, and I know you've been busy since you've been here, but tell us a little bit about your experience. What's your background?
Well, 2015 is my 30th year in local government.
Great.
And I've had the opportunity to work for a number of local governments during my career. I think Roanoke County is the 7th local government that I've worked for.
Good.
So I have a very long local government experience. I've worked primarily in city and county management, but I've also spent some time working in budget and fiscal planning, a little bit in economic development and strategic planning.
Okay, so you bring a wealth of experience to the county.
Well, I bring a long history.
Well, talk about your priorities since you've been here.
Well, most of what I've been doing since I started is trying to meet with as many employees as I can. I think that's very important, and I've really wanted to try and get to know the employees of Roanoke County. I've also spent time working with my colleagues in the community, spent time working with the board. As you know, we had a board retreat in the middle of January, and now I've been working on the budget.
Okay, and that's a very big process that we're entering into right now, is the budget.
It is. It takes a lot of energy and staff time for us to produce a budget that reflects the organization's priorities and the board's priorities. So we have a team of folks working to develop not only what we think our revenues will be for next year, but also how we'll spend money, what we ought to invest in for service delivery.
Okay, and the budget process usually takes quite a while, doesn't it?
It's usually a 4 or 5 month process to prepare a budget, yeah.
And it might be April when it's presented to the board?
We expect at this point we'll be able to bring forward to the board a presentation in April, and they would, the plan is that they would adopt the budget in May.
Okay, very good. I know that's very time consuming. And I know it's been important to you that citizens have the opportunity to have some input into the budget process.
Well, it's their government, and so we want our budget to reflect their priorities. They certainly can comment on the budget or offer thoughts that they may have through our website at roanokecountyva.gov. But we also have a public hearing for the budget. And so we should, although I don't believe the timing that's been scheduled, it'll be during the course of the board's deliberation on the budget. So citizens should watch for the public hearing and then come make their thoughts known.
Okay, good, good. And you said RoanokeCountyVA.gov.
That's right.
And there is a place on the website where people can click to go to the budget process, and there's an online form.
That's right.
Where they can submit information. Okay, good. After we conclude with the budget process, I'm sure you're going to be looking at strategic plans.
Indeed.
What are those plans?
Well, the board has asked me to take a look at the strategic planning process and to bring back to them some proposals for how we'll develop a strategic plan for the county. We'll probably start that sometime in the middle of summer after we've gotten through the budget process. And I think it really needs to be a citizen-involved process. So I'm working with staff now trying to figure out exactly how we might go about that, how we get the citizens' input into the direction of the county. It's very important that they speak very directly to us about the kinds of things they'd like to see for their community, so that we can then in turn build our organization to reflect their priorities.
Good. So it's very much the people's government.
It really is very much the people's government, and we use the strategic plan internally to try and orient all of the work that we do from a service perspective to achieve or yield the outcomes that the citizens have said they want for the community.
Okay. Also, now you have a family that came with you. It wasn't just you moving down to Roanoke County, but you have a family. So how are your wife and children enjoying things here?
My wife and 2 boys, of course, came with me. They are having a great time, love Roanoke County. My children have adapted to school very easily and are enjoying their new school. It's like we've been here for a long time.
Good. And are you finding some special places in the county that you enjoy doing? We have a lot of hiking and greenways and whatnot.
Well, the weather's been a little cold for hiking, but yes, we've been out a few times and been to Explorer Park, which is just a beautiful place. Good. We've done the obligatory trip to the Mill Mountain to the Star.
Oh, good.
And that was a lot of fun, and we enjoyed that.
Right.
But we've been doing a lot of time just sort of familiarizing ourselves with the area. And you know, like I say, it's a great quality of life here. We're very pleased.
It is. Very good. Well, we are so glad that you are with us, and I know we're going to see you many more times on Roanoke County Today. We hope you'll join us as we go through the budget process and many other things going on in the future.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you for being with us.
My pleasure.
We'll be right back.
The Regional Center for Animal Care and Protection has reached capacity for cats. RCACP staff suggests that now is the time to consider adding a new pet cat to the family. The number of incoming cats exceeds RCACP's ability to find homes for them. The community can go online to see available animals and complete an application at rcacp.org. Cat adoptions are free and the cats are vaccinated, spayed and neutered, and microchipped. The shelter is open 11:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. For more information, call 540-344-4922.
Roanoke Valley Television RVTV Channel 3 is on Facebook. Go to www.rvtv.org and click on the Facebook icon to like RVTV3 today, your government and educational access station.
I'm here today with Pat Shoemate in Roanoke County's 911 Center, and the folks behind us are usually the first people to know when a disaster strikes. Now, Roanoke County also offers a system where you can get information almost as soon as it happens when an emergency strikes your area or home. The system is called RoCo Alert, and Pat's going to walk us through a little bit about RoCo Alert today. Pat?
RoCo Alert is a system that uses street addressing and mapping to alert people in specific areas of matters of danger, or maybe to avoid an area, just to get the public, inform the public.
Right. So very map-based, very visual-based.
It's map-based, and we can set that area as large or as small as we want to.
Now, give us a couple ways RoCo Alert has been used the last couple of years to help keep people safe.
Yeah. When one example might be when the derecho came through a couple of years ago, we could use RoCo Alert to provide the public with information on how to deal with the emergency, maybe specific areas to avoid, or maybe even special instructions to where they can get assistance if they need it.
Right. So that's an example, I guess, of a wide area.
Right. Now, if in a case, say, maybe a public safety issue where there's maybe a gas leak or maybe a police operation or something, we can use it to pinpoint specific areas to set up maybe an evacuation, or maybe to advise citizens to avoid a certain area.
Right. Now, who activates RoCo Alert? Who kind of runs that?
Usually the alert is originated here in the 911 center, but it's activated by any of the public safety agencies in the area when they have a specific issue that they need to get word out to the public.
Right, so that's police, fire and rescue, sheriff's office,
town event and police, and so forth.
Right. So I think it's important for people to understand that it's not for spam calls, it's not for program or meeting information. It is for bona fide emergencies.
That it is.
Great. I guess the next thing, you understand that RoCo Alert uses landline telephones to send automated messages to households, but a lot of people now don't have traditional landlines. How can people sign up for the system?
Well, we encourage people to sign up. You go to the Roanoke County website, and you can actually go, it's www.roanokecountyva.gov. I think it's / RoCo Alert, and that'll take you to the sign-up page. And you register your email address with your telephone number and your home address, or the address that you have a specific you want an alert. For example, if you want to be alerted to something that may be going on in the area that your children go to school, or if you have an elderly parent that you want to be alerted if there's an incident in that area, you can use their address and you would get those alerts.
So you would receive alerts from those specific addresses, whatever the person puts in the system.
Right, but it has to be what you go up and sign up for and put in the system. Otherwise, it just goes to a landline phone in that specific area.
Great. Well, you know, Pat, I think it's also important to point out that anyone can sign up for RoCo Alert. You don't have to be a county resident.
No, you do not.
It is tied to addresses within Roanoke County. So parents of college students who might go in the area, that kind of thing, they could sign up for their child's address.
If you, and I realize nobody watching this probably lives in Alabama, but if you live in Alabama and you've got a child going to Virginia, Roanoke College or Hollis College, you can put that address in there and you would be alerted if there was an incident in that area.
Well, Pat, I appreciate your time today. I understand you've been in public safety for nearly 40 years in your career, and that you'll be retiring soon.
Yes, I will.
So tell us a little bit about how you started, just your first job.
I was married, and I was going to college and selling shoes at JCPenney's, and my wife got pregnant and I needed a job. So I went to work for the Roanoke City Police Department. And I worked there about 25 years and left, and then came over to the county, and I've been here about 15 years.
Right, great. Well, again, Pat, I really appreciate your time today, and I thank you for walking us through RoCo Alert, and helping people understand what it's about and how to sign up.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you coming by.
And thank you for watching Roanoke County Today.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me today is Commander Mike Williams with the Roanoke County Criminal Justice Academy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're certainly not a stranger to us. The last time we were here visiting with you, we were actually in this room, but it was still under construction.
That is correct.
So now the academy is complete, and there's been a lot of activity here. So what's been happening?
Yep. Well, last month we had our ribbon cutting, so we had our opening ceremony, and also last month we had our graduating class. That was joint effort between us and Roanoke City that graduated, so that was some busy times there. And then obviously moving in and getting used to the new facilities.
Tell me about the dedication ceremony that occurred.
Sure. We had a dedication ceremony and a ribbon cutting, I guess we called it. And we had several speakers here. Chief Hall spoke, the Roanoke County Board of Supervisors Chairman was here, the Roanoke City Vice Mayor spoke, and our County Administrator spoke at that ribbon cutting. And after the conclusion of that, we opened up the Roanoke City's wing and our county new addition, and offered tours to anybody that wanted to tour and look throughout the academy.
Good, and it was very well attended, and again it showed the partnership that exists between the two jurisdictions.
Yes, it did.
Good. And so the recruits from Roanoke City and Roanoke County are now training together, and I know we've talked about this before. It's a great partnership, and what have been the benefits of this?
Well, the benefits have been we're able to share instructors, and it's a huge benefit to us. So, not requiring as many county instructors to teach a basic class where we have intermingled city instructors and vice versa. So that allows those other instructors to get back in their normal duties. So that's been a huge benefit. Plus being underneath the same roof and getting the same training. So
sure, good. And let's talk about what it takes to become a police officer. I'm sure it's a lengthy process. There's a lot of training involved. So let's go over what that process is.
Yep. Well, they got to get hired. Our professional standards unit does the hiring for Roanoke County. They go through the application process and medical testing and physical agilities and stuff. But once they complete all that and the chief hires them, then they come to the academy. The academy runs about 26, 27 weeks, depends on holidays. So it's a long training aspect for them. When they're in the academy, we just started the academy 2 weeks ago, so it's another new recruit class going. The first part of the academy is a lot of the knowledge and the books and everything, and getting to understand what the case laws and search and seizure and all that. Then we start to progress into defensive tactics and driving and firearms. They'll start learning some baton training and start going down more hands-on as they get towards the middle and the end of the academy. But it's about 26 weeks. It's pretty intensive. So it's a commitment for them.
Sure. And for the application process, how long does the application process take?
Normally, they take about, professional standards, usually about 2.5, 3 months. Because they got to come in and test. They take a written application, written test, and then they do a physical agility test. And normally about 2.5, 3 months it takes them to work up an applicant to get ready to be hired.
Okay, good. So this is not just a come in and apply and you're in, and there's lots of training involved.
Yep.
It's a very detailed process.
It is a detailed process, with the academy being about 26 weeks. And after they graduate the academy, then they have another 3 months of field training. So the training's not over. But what happens there is they get to go with their platoons or on the street, and they have a field training officer for 12 weeks, and that they will be paired up with for additional training. So it's quite a process.
Sure. But it's a good thing because the end result is a safer community for us.
Absolutely.
Good.
Yep.
Well, thanks for joining us today and for the update on the Academy.
Okay, thank you.
We'll be right back.
If you've ever had an emergency, then you know that in an instant, all you can do is put your life in the hands of the men and women who come to save the day. This is the mission of the Vinton First Aid Crew. The Vinton First Aid Crew is looking for volunteers who would like to help with their community. For more information on becoming a volunteer, call 540-983-0641, send an email to volunteer@vintonems.com, or you can visit their website at vintonems.com.
With me today is David Flagler, Executive Director for the Regional Center of Animal Care and Protection. David, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And you have a furry friend joining us today. We're really excited to see him.
And he is very excited to see you.
Yes, he is. We're so glad. This is just one of many, many that you have here at the center. Tell us first, what is the mission? What's your goal here at the center?
Well, our primary mission is to provide a place where lost animals can wait to be found by their owners. And when our primary mission has served that we've had an animal for a sufficient length of time for the owners to find their pets, then our next mission kicks in is to find a new home for these homeless animals.
Sure. Well, that's a very good mission, and I know you do see a lot of animals here. I know you recently celebrated a milestone achievement. Tell me what that is.
We're so excited about that just a few weeks ago that we celebrated our 1,000th adoption. And so it was, 1,000 little critters like this that we placed into new homes. And it is one of the things that the staff is so thrilled about participating in, and it was just great to be able to celebrate that. Now we're looking forward to our 2,000th in about another year.
That's wonderful. Well, congratulations on that. That's great. And tell us what the process is for adopting a pet.
Well, the people that are interested in bringing a animal into their home should come to the animal shelter and look at what we have available. There's a little trick that we have animals here that are here during their stray hold time. And so many times people will want to jumpstart the process, look at the animals that are waiting for their owners to reclaim, and then put their names in for those animals when they become available for adoption. And so that way, that when the time has ended for the owner to reclaim the pet, the animal can immediately go into a new home, into its new home with new owner.
Okay, so usually a couple of weeks.
Animals that come in, there are two types of holds. Animals that, like this one, has no identification on it, that will be held 5 days for the owner to discover their pet's missing. If people will put identification on their pets, put a collar tag, that we will hold the animals 10 days.
Okay.
And then at the end of that hold period, animals become available for adoption.
Okay. Great. And what are the current needs? I'm sure there are plenty here at the center.
Well, I think that our greatest need is to have a community of responsible pet owners.
Sure.
That to be a responsible pet owner, people will make sure that all of the animals' physical needs are met, as long as veterinary needs. Make sure your pet is vaccinated, licensed, and spayed or neutered. And but for here at the shelter, we're always in need of adopters, people that come in and take these animals home. And one of the another need is our volunteers. Our volunteers create such value added to these animals that they spend time socializing the animals, taking the animals out for a walk. And they just make life so much easier for the animals here.
Give them a little extra love,
Absolutely.
A little extra attention. So this is a great place for any animal lover to come and volunteer.
That's correct.
Good. Good. This one just loves the attention.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
And this is exactly the kind of stuff that we would want our volunteers to be doing, is to spend time with the animal and to sit there and be shown that it is loved. The more time you spend with an animal, that it becomes social, and so that when it goes into a household, that this one will now not be afraid of squeaky toys.
Sure.
Oh, what was that?
That's great. And you do have a lot of cats here.
That's true.
That's a constant thing you see coming in. You have an overabundance of cats
We
sometimes.
do. That we are pretty successful in finding homes for our dogs, but we have a lot of cats that are kind of neighborhood cats.
Sure.
And so people will be feeding these animals, but they don't necessarily take on any other responsibility, like spay neutering. And with our community cats, that as long as they're being fed, unless they're spayed or neutered, they will breed. And as a result, the shelter is full of all of these community, feral, unsocial animals.
Okay. Now, if people are interested in adopting or volunteering, where should they get more information?
Well, if you've connected to the internet, you know, see us on our website at rcacp.org.
Okay.
Or feel free to give us a call. Our number is 540-344-4922.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much, David, for
thank
being
you.
here. Thanks for bringing in this furry friend. Hopefully he'll find his forever home as well.
He says, I'm ready to go home.
Sure. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Congratulations to the Regional Center for Animal Care and Protection for their 1,000th pet adoption. If you would like to adopt a pet, did you know that you can also go to the RCACP website and their Facebook page to look at pets for adoption? It's easy to do. Simply go to their website at rcacp.org or visit their Facebook page. Both sites include information and pictures of animals waiting to be adopted. Help make a difference in the life of a pet today. Adopt from the Regional Center for Animal Care and Protection.
Welcome back. Joining me is John Murphy, who's the zoning administrator for Roanoke County. Welcome to the show, John.
Well, thank you for having me, Amy.
Sure. So zoning there's a lot that is involved in zoning. There's ordinances, lots of rules, a lot of things. So I wanted to break that down with you. So what is the basic purpose of the zoning office?
The zoning office has a lot of different functions. Our staff provides technical support to the Planning Commission, to the Board of Zoning Appeals and Board of Supervisors. The Planning Commission is an appointed body that hears land use cases such as rezoning cases and special use permits, and they make recommendations to the Board of Supervisors, and the zoning and planning staff is the professional staff that does the analysis for each of those applications. So they work closely with the Planning Commission to help them make a decision about a land use case. The Board of Zoning Appeals is a different body. It hears variance cases and administrative appeal cases. A variance is, for example, if you were to attempt to build a structure and for some reason there's a hardship on the property, maybe there's a steep slope or a floodplain, you would have to build it closer to the property line than the zoning ordinance allows. The Board of Zoning Appeals, if there's a hardship demonstrated to them, can grant a variance, which is basically an exception to the ordinance that would allow you to build closer. So we provide those services, and there's also other services that we do. We review site plans. When someone wants to construct a subdivision or commercial or industrial building, they have to have an engineer draw up construction documents. And our staff reviews those to make sure the use is compatible, and we look at things such as the building placement, the building mass, the parking, and those types of issues. And our staff also looks at the building plans themselves to make sure the uses within the buildings match the allowable uses in the zoning ordinance. And then to kind of round it out, we have several planners that are code enforcement officers. Their primary responsibility is to enforce county code and the zoning ordinance. And,
Good. You all do a lot. What are some of the requirements for zoning?
There's a lot of different things. There's a lot of different types of zoning. So when you say the requirements for zoning, there's different standards, and that depends on the type of zoning you have. For example, our agricultural zonings, you have agricultural, several different types of that. You have residential, you have commercial, industrial, and then we have some specialty zonings, planned districts and overlay districts and so forth. Depending on the type of zoning you have is going to dictate the standards that apply. For example, if you have an agricultural zoning, that allows the ability to construct a house, but you could also have livestock or horses or you know, a farm, if you will.
Sure.
If you're in a residential neighborhood, that's not the case. Your lots are going to be significantly smaller. You wouldn't be allowed to have livestock, obviously, within a neighborhood.
Right.
But there's different things that apply. In the commercial, we have different commercial districts. So basically what the zoning does, it categorizes uses so that they're in compliance with the comprehensive plan, which is the long-term land use plan that the county has. And the idea is through the Planning Commission and Board of Supervisors, with the help of the planning staff, they put together a long-term plan for the county, and that's called the comprehensive plan. And that basically lays out what we would like to see the county be in 15 or 20 years. And then the zoning is the implementation tool that makes that happen. The zoning is the actual ordinances and laws that we enforce to make sure that the intent of the comprehensive plan is met.
Right.
So.
Okay, there's a lot of detail that goes into what you do. And what are some of the common complaints that you see in your department? I know there are quite a few.
And they're varied. Like I say, our staff handles code and zoning enforcement. Code, when I say code, I'm talking about code within the county ordinance versus the actual zoning ordinance itself. Some examples of code violations will be typically in the spring and summer. Our most frequent issue is the high grass and weeds.
Sure.
The county has a regulation that grass cannot be higher than 12 inches, and if it is, and a neighbor makes a complaint, our officers will go out and send a certified letter to the owner of the property and have them bring it into compliance. Other things like inoperative vehicles. Sometimes people will have a car on their property that doesn't have a current inspection sticker or no license plates, or maybe it's been wrecked and it's in the driveway up on blocks, or the windshield's broken out, or the hood's missing, or the engine. Something like that by code is supposed to be kept in an enclosed building or stored in a proper location. Covering that type of vehicle with a tarp specifically is stated in the ordinance that that's not acceptable. It's got to be in a building. Then we have the accumulated trash and debris, and you've heard stories and seen issues on TV about hoarders. We have issues with those that we deal with. And then the zoning issues are tied to land uses. For example, people that would bring a commercial vehicle in a residential neighborhood. If you're a tractor trailer driver and you choose to bring your tractor trailer and park it in the neighborhood when you're not at work, those types of things, a dump truck, a tow truck, a commercial vehicle. There's also regulations about the parking of recreational vehicles and boats. They have to be parked beside the house or behind the house. So again, in spring and summer, when a lot of people are pulling their boats out of storage, they decide to keep them in their neighborhood, and they park them maybe in the front yard, and that would be a violation. So our officers will contact the owners and let them know where the vehicles can be parked.
Sure. And so if people have questions, then all they need to do is visit the website, which is RoanokeCountyVA.gov, or they can certainly call the zoning office and ask any questions, or if there are any complaints.
Correct.
Okay, good.
And we also have community development has a newsletter, an e-newsletter. And if you go to the planning and zoning website, under quick links on the right, you can sign up and have the email newsletter.
Great. Thank you very much for being with us and explaining all this.
April showers bring May flowers. It also brings a great time to start using a rain barrel. A rain barrel catches rainwater from your roof gutters, and the clean, free water can be used on gardens, lawns, and for outdoor cleaning. Rain barrel water is free of chemicals. It reduces your water bills, and it's good for the environment. You can buy a pre-assembled kit, or you can build your own with materials from a hardware store. Learn how to start saving money and the environment by using a rain barrel today. Contact the Clean Valley Council for more info.